Hey, Winnie, happy Thursday. This is Mrs. Hernandez again, and I'm here to review some of the things we talked about on Monday and Tuesday, and also to give you some tips on how you can more easily count money. Okay, first of all, remember that you should be working with money at home that is real money. If you have some spare change that your parents have or your brothers and sisters might have, you can get some change from the store whenever your mom or dad goes there, and you want to be using money to count with it so you can practice, okay? And then as you practice, you can do this poem. Let's do our poem together. You ready? Penny, penny, easily spent, copper, brown and worth 1 cent. Nickel, nickel, thick and fat, you're worth 5 cents, I know that. Dime, dime, little and thin, I remember you're worth 10. Quarter, quarter, big and bold, you're worth 25, I'm told. So remember, these are what the coins look like. This is how much they all are, each of them. And then as you noticed, I have little dots underneath. Okay, here's a trick when you are counting up money. And this is especially going to be helpful as you count different amounts of money, that if you count coins that are 2 different coins or 3 different coins. Okay, for a penny, we just count by ones. We can just say 1, 2, that's it. If I had 2 pennies here, I can just say 1, 2, that's it. It's like counting by ones when you have your ones cubes, the ones units. When you count your nickels, you're going to need to count by 5s. And just to remind you that you need to count by 5, I'm going to put a little dot in the middle of each of these coins here. And then every time I touch a dot, I'm going to count by 5. 5, 10. So 2 of my nickels are going to be worth 10 cents because each of them are worth 5. 5, 10. Now when I get to my dime, they're worth 10 each, right? So I'm going to put 1 dot, that's 5. Another dot, that's 10. And then I can touch and count 5, 10. That's how I can remember how to touch and count my dimes. I'm going to put the dot on this one too. So now let's count up how much money we have with 2 dimes. I could count by tens, 10, 20, or I can do this. 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, now when I get to my quarters, I'm going to take my dots and I'm going to spread them around like this. Kind of like I'm making the die on one of my number 5 on a dice that I have. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put dots in the corners and dot in the center and then dot at the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to count them up. Remember, every dot is worth 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, so one of my quarters is worth 25. If I have 2 quarters, let's count them up. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So you can take a dry erase marker that you can erase or wipe off, and you can put those dots on your coins to help you to count them more easily. Okay, we're not going to do this whole sheet, but I just wanted to show you, just to practice a little bit together, matching. You're supposed to match these to an amount that's over here, but we're just going to count them. So these are pennies, so I'm only going to count 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I can look for, whoop, that's 14. Nope, that's 13. Nope. So this one matches this one. This is 10 cents because I counted by ones 10 times, and that's how I got 10. So every time you count your pennies, you count by ones. Let's look and see some of our nickels here, and I'm going to make it a little bigger so we can see. Remember, every time we count our nickels, we count by 5s. and you can draw a dot in the center if that helps you. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65. So then I would write, if I were doing this problem, I would go ahead and write 65 right here. And like I said, if it helps you to put a dot in the center of each one as you count it, so you remember to count by fives, then go ahead and do that. It's all about what is going to make it easier for you to count. Let's go ahead and do some of our dimes now. Now remember, with our dimes, we said we can put 2 dots on them because each one is worth 10. 5, 10. You don't have to do that, but I'm just giving you an option for if it makes you easier for you to count, okay? So let's go ahead and count what we've got here. We have 5 dimes. Now I could count them by tens, or I can count it the other way I showed you. Let's count it by tens first. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, or now let's count it the other way with the dots. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So how much is this worth? It's worth 50 cents. All right, boys and girls, so now I'm on your independent practice. And as you can see, they are showing you how you might count some coins by themselves, like the dimes, or how you can also count these with a combination of coins, like dimes and pennies, okay? This is very similar. When you do this, it's very, very similar to counting tens and ones rods, okay? So tens rods and the ones units. And remember, if you were in my group, we did this a lot. We count, every time we see something that we count by tens with, either the 10 rods or a dime, we count by tens, and then we stop and we clap, and then we count the rest. So I might count like this. I see that I have 3 dimes here, and they just told me that's 10, 20, 30. Now if I'm going to count dimes and pennies, I can do this. 10, 20, 30, clap, 31, 32. Okay, and all together we have 32 cents. Remember, that cent sign is like a C with a line through it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the guided practice. The first one they did for you, and it helps you remember that we're going to count by tens here, because dimes, dime, dime, little and thin, you're with 10, right? Okay, so they counted by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and all we have 60 cents. Now for this one, we have tens, and then we have some ones. So what you're going to do is write how much you've gotten to after you start counting. What I mean is this. We know that this is a dime and it's worth 10. Okay, so I'm going to say, okay, this is 10. I'm going to write a 10 here. I don't have a marker here with me, but you can write it on your piece of paper. Okay, so this is 10, and this is another 10. So 10, 20. I'm going to write 10. Then I'm going to write 20. And now, remember, I'm going to switch from tens to ones, so I've got to clap, clap. And now I'm going to count on by ones, because each of these pennies is worth 1. Remember, it's exactly the same as counting with tens, rods, and then with units, okay? So this is like 10, 20, clap, 21, 22, 23. And underneath this, I would write 21, 22, 23. And in all, I would write 23 and then write a cents, that C with a line through it. Okay, so you can go ahead and practice the rest of this on your own. These you just get to count by ones, because we've got some pennies here. Here you're going to count by tens, then you're going to clap, and then you're going to count on by ones. And same thing with here. It's actually just like what you practice with our tens and our ones. this is a great challenge for you. It says find the total value of the coins. In other words, count them all up. And he's giving you a big hint here. He says, which coins will you count first and why? So if I were you, think of back when we were counting with our tens rods in our units. Okay, for their tens rods, we usually counted those first, didn't we? So if I were you, I would count these dimes first. Count them, and you can cross them off as you do them. Okay, the best thing for you to do would be to get your own collection of money at home. Get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dimes, and then get 5 pennies, and I would sort them out and count them. Okay, here's some additional problems here for you. You can check your assessment practice when we're all done. This is to kind of see, did you understand everything that we did? If you don't, that's okay, because money is something that takes a little bit of time. So, but then go back to the other part of the video that I showed you today, the part of the video I showed you yesterday or Tuesday, and what Ms. Colhan showed you with visual learning and problem solving, and see if you can practice that. But the biggest thing is going to be for you is to be identifying and counting coins at home. Count some out, have your parents check or your older brother or sister check for you, and that will help you a lot as you practice using money. And then you can go to the store with the face mask, of course, and use some of the money that you've counted. Okay, boys and girls, hope you found this helpful. We'll talk to you and see you soon.